Monday morning. Are you ready to go? Hope you had a fabulous weekend. Alright, so this is take 2 of the lesson, which is Introduction to Poetry. Those of you who were with me on Friday, we had a bit of a technical fault, so apologies for that, but we're ready to go today, and fingers crossed everything's good to go. As always, we're going to start today's lesson with a word of the day. Today's word of the day is miscellaneous. Ooh, I like the way you say that. Miscellaneous. Very posh, sophisticated. Sorry, Holly's doing some weird things down here. It's an adjective and it means a mixture of various things that aren't normally connected. A wee example would be, excuse the noise in the background, that's the toddler, is the lost property box was full of miscellaneous items. So a wee bit of this, wee bit of that, wee bit of like somebody's false teeth, false leg, who knows, a wig, I don't know what else could be in there. And as always, today's spelling word is assessment. Now, we're going to do some looking at spelling tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow, could be Wednesday, one or the other. The timetable's up on the Aim Higher Facebook page. So we're going to look at some spelling strategies to help you. We are going to do a little spelling bee. So hopefully some of the strategies that I'll use with you tomorrow will be helpful. Today's spelling word is assessment. That's one of the most favourite words of every child in the world. We're going to do an assessment today. So it's got double S, double S, double S, double S. Lovely. As always, I like to do a little pun because, as you know, I'm full of the cheese. Today's pun is, what do you call a thieving alligator? A crocodile! And the little drop of people that I had with me on Friday are like, it wasn't funny then, it's not funny now. So we are going to do reading poetry. Alright? So first task, just to get your brains ticking over, is you have, let's just say, a minute and a half. I want you to write down as many words as you can think of that rhyme with me, and then as many words as you can think of that rhyme with you. Alright, you've got a wee minute and a half just to get you active, get you doing something. Alexa, play. Alexa, stop. Thank you kindly. How'd you get on? Hope you managed to get a few words and beat everyone around you. Find out how much they got. Alright, so what's the difference between poetry and prose? These are some words that you will come across if you haven't already. So what's different from poetry? So prose is basically things like stories and articles, that kind of thing. So 30 seconds, write down as many things that you can think of that makes poetry different from prose. Alright, just take a wee note, jot anything down or say them out loud. Back in a mo. nearly done. Hope you got a few. Here are some. So prose is a continuous piece of writing that uses sentences and paragraphs in its structure. It may or it may not be creative, and it sounds similar to ordinary speech or writing. And in prose, if it's fiction, there's a narrator who's someone who is telling the story. However, in poetry, it's also a continuous piece of writing, but it's structured using lines and stanzas or verses. Don't ever call it a paragraph. That's something that kids always write. And it sounds just a little bit more special, a bit more artistic. It sounds quite fancy when you're saying it because it's meant to be said aloud. It's almost, sometimes the poet's thoughts just pouring out onto the page. So it's often about something personal to them. And unlike a narrator, there's a speaker because again, it's meant to be said. So here's a wee example of a poem. The Fat Cat. Quite similar to my dog. I had a cat who was so fat, he could not even sit on his mat. He had a hat that did not fit. He put it on, and then it split. You ever had that happen with a pair of trousers? You might have it happen once you try your school uniforms on, let me tell you that, after this few weeks of lockdown and not being able to exercise as much as we usually are. Some of you may recognise this as well. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam, I am. I do not like them in a boat. I do not like them with a goat. I do not like them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. So that's from the Dr. Seuss series of books. Obviously you may have spotted, well done if you have, that these poems rhyme. The correct name for two lines in poetry that rhyme is called a rhyming couplet. The way to remember it, if you look at the word couplet, I've highlighted in yellow, you see the word couple there, you know what a couple are. A couple means two. So that's what I say when I say I'm having a couple of Moams. Packets, that is. Your turn. So I'd like you to try and come up with your own wee rhyming couplets. So basically, there's 3 sentences here and I want you to try and think of something that would match, that would rhyme with the last word. So the pretty fish is red. You would then write a sentence that has a word at the end that rhymes with red. My eyes saw a beautiful sight. And oh rainbow, how lovely you are. Alright, 2 minutes. Good luck. Alexa, play. Alexa, stop in 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, I will stop playing in 2 minutes.
Alexa, stop. Sorry if I've cut you a little bit short, I just felt that was going on forever. Hopefully you've come up with 3 sentences. Here's my best effort. This pretty fish is red and its best pal is Fred. My eyes saw a beautiful sight, the twinkling stars that were so bright. Oh rainbow, how lovely you are. You can be seen from near or far. I feel a song coming on. Near, far, wherever you are. Where are you? Are you in Dunfermline where I am? In sunny Fife? Or are you somewhere more Sunnier. Are you somewhere sunnier? Do all poems rhyme? If a poem is serious or trying to tell a personal story, it would be a little bit silly if it rhymed, and it might not be taken seriously, because obviously it makes it quite light and jolly if you have rhyming couplets and things a lot of the time. So instead of rhyme, poets use other techniques to convey different feelings or ideas or emotions. Punctuation is really important when you're reading a poem. When I was young, as a child, I used to think that at the end of the line you stop. So that's just the first kind of mistake to not think about. Pauses are really important. So full stops, commas, any other bits of punctuation will tell you where to pause, how long to pause. Often they can be in the middle of a line. So things like commas and dashes, semicolons and that, they're for short pauses, whereas exclamation marks, question marks, anything else that rhymes with marks, full stops, they're for your longer pause. And as I said, a common mistake is don't just pause at the end of the line. You need to keep running on. The lines run on in poetry. It's called enjambment. The way to remember it is jambe in French is leg, so legs run. Mine tend to not. That also affects the rhythm flow of the poem, and it stops you understanding it. So if you were to stop at the end of every line, it just wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't sound right. You'd be sitting there going, what? So here's an example of that. I am wolf on top of a mountain. I stop. My pack is still trying to get up. I go down to help them. We get to the top and walk down the other side. We eventually find food and stay overnight. Our pups will be born the next day. So if you paused, it would be a bit more like, I am wolf on top of a mountain. I stop. My pack is still trying to get up. See, so it affects the flow and the understanding and the meaning, so don't make that mistake. Words, words, words. Word order. Poets may use an unusual word order to emphasise an idea. So obviously if there's a word at the start of a line or a word at the end, you draw attention to that particular word. So that's often done for effect, to emphasise it. That's a good word to learn. If a line is confusing, then basically if it's inverted, it's called, if it's been shuffled around so much you don't understand, look for the subject and the verb. We're going to do a wee bit more work on that later in the week, on verbs and nouns and adjectives in the next few weeks. Then rearrange the sentence to try and make a wee bit more sense of it. The choice of words is really important too, and that will become even more important as you go up through school and study, analyse poems in a bit more depth. So words can reveal the writer's attitude and feelings. What kind of words are they? Just ask yourself, are they positive, are they negative, are they happy, are they sad? You know, these are the sort of basic starting points. And then think about how the poem is meant to make you feel. So obviously somebody's speaking, it's meant to be spoken aloud to you. So how does it affect you, or what does it make you think about? And lastly, words may be repeated. Again, there's that magic word for emphasis. For emphasis. For emphasis. So it's just to make something seem a bit more special, more special, more special. There's an echo in here. Echo, echo, echo. Sound effects are really important in poetry, again, because it's said aloud. So I don't mean pew, 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 like you get in a comic. I mean more, these are the sorts of techniques we'll be studying again over the next little while. I'll be doing lessons on each one. So sounds in poetry help to emphasise something or get an idea across. So things like onomatopoeia, I love the way you say that word, alliteration, assonance, internal rhyme. You might be sitting going, say what? I don't know what these are. You will by the end. You will by the time I'm finished with you. So figures of speech coming this week, because this was meant to be on Friday. We're going to start with metaphors. The senses are also important in poetry. They suggest particular things, convey things and feelings and description. Do you know what the 5 senses are? Right? 20 seconds, say them out loud. Did you get them? Well done if you did. way I always remembered when I was little. I got taught it and it's stuck in my head ever since. See if it works for you. 3 S's and 2 T's. 2 T's. I'd like a couple of T to be fair. Sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. It's the way I've always remembered it. Obviously it's technically hearing, but sounds the same, isn't it? So that's the way I've always remembered it, and you can do them all with this part of your body. Right, so we're going to write a wee poem. What? I can't write poems! Yes you can, yes you can. So we're going to write a wee sensory poem about love. Love, yes, love's very important. We've obviously experienced a lot of fear the last few weeks, so just to write a little positive poem about love would be great. So what I'd like you to do is basically, I'm going to get you to write a little poem that's all about love looks like. What does love look like? Because it's a feeling. How can a feeling be visible? But you'll see what I mean in a second. What does love look like? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What does it feel like? Alright, you're going to write a little poem about that. Here's one I made earlier. Love looks like a glowing sunset. You know that sunset when you're driving the car, it makes you go, and then stop the car and stare. Love sounds like my daughter's laughter in the morning. A rare sound, to be fair, because, puberty. Love smells like mum's freshly made scones. Lovely. Love tastes like the day's first hot cup of sweet tea, just to go with that scone. And love feels like getting into a clean, comfortable bed. You know what I mean, when those crisp sheets are calling. So you have a couple of choices, alright? What I would like you to do is use this structure. So what does love look like, sound like, smell like, taste like and feel like? Try and think of your own ideas. You can decide, are you going to make it rhyme? Are you going to have rhyming couplets between look and sound, or look and smell you can even have? You don't have to have it rhyme. The one I had done didn't rhyme at all. So you can either write about love, or you could write about lockdown. So what's the last few weeks felt like? So what does lockdown look like? Empty streets, people wearing masks, that sort of thing. So what I'd love you to do is try to come up with a wee sensory poem, either about love or about lockdown, or anything, to be fair, if you don't like either of those, and jot it down. If you would like, I would love it if you would, because I'd like to get my first wee picture on my Facebook page. Could you write down your poem, maybe even decorate it, and then send it to me on my Aim Higher Facebook page? Get your parent or guardian to pop it in, and then I can put them up. That would be fabulous. Only obviously if you want me to. So that's just some pictures of lockdown, just to get your thoughts a-flowing. I'm going to pop all my PowerPoints on if I haven't already done so. Tomorrow is Marvellous Metaphors, so please tune in and I'll explain why I teach metaphor first before simile. As a wee reminder, if you haven't already done so, please join my Facebook page, the Aim Higher one. Ask to join the groups. I'm going to upload the sources, and please subscribe to the Aim Higher channel as well. If you're not on Facebook, that's the information for joining the Google Classroom, where I'll also be uploading the material. Lastly, I am doing these lessons out of the goodness of my heart, but if you'd love to buy me a wee packet of Moams or a cup of tea, just chuck me £1 or two, anything, to that PayPal account on the screen. Alright, hope you've enjoyed the lesson, hope it's been useful, and I'll see you tomorrow for some marvellous metaphors. Have a great day. Bye! Alexa, play.